What's up guys, Benny here, and welcome to my top 5 meta assault rifle and LMG loadouts that you're going to want to be using in Warzone 2. And if you are new around here, take a second, hit that subscribe button so you stay on top of the game's meta, so you're always using the best guns. But the very first loadout that I want to hop into is probably one of the most popular in the game currently because it is so consistent, so strong, and that includes the TAC 56 assault rifle. Now the TAC 56 itself is a high fire rate assault rifle, so you get a big margin for error, and it's why you see it being used in so many different situations, because there are a number of different builds that you can do that allow it to perform better at different ranges. So it's like a good close to medium range assault rifle, it's a good medium to long range depending on how you build it. A big thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. And it's time to talk about your gamer groin. Like, we've all been there. After a long gaming session, hours and hours of your legs locked together. But that's where Manscaped comes in to make gamer groin a thing of the past, as the performance package is designed to take your hygiene to the next level. So the first part of your meta loadout is the Lawnmower 4.0. It's got skin-safe technology to help prevent nicks and cuts, and is also waterproof, so you can go ahead and use it in the shower. Then in your loadout, you've got Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. The deodorant has soothing aloe vera to help you feel fresh, and the Crop Reviver, you just need 2 sprays down below to help you feel nice and fresh for your next drop. But that's not all you've got. You've also got the Weed Whacker Nose and Hair Trimmer, and if you get this package right now, you'll also get 2 free gifts: the Shed Travel Bag and Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxers. So head to manscaped.com and use this code for 20% off. Your butt, body, and balls will thank you. The exact build for the TAC 56 I'm rocking right now includes the Harbinger muzzle, which is then tuned for recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. We've then got the 17.5-inch Tundra Pro barrel, which is then tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. We've then got the 40-round mag, just because I want to minimize the negative impacts of the 60-round mag, so I maximize my movement speed and ADS speed, so it does perform well as it can in like 1v2, 1v1 scenarios, rather than being a little bit more sluggish with that ADS speed if you run the 60 round. I then run the VLK 4x optic. I then tune that just so I've got better ADS speed. You can put this down to far, but I quite like just having it as kind of like a rough default, to be perfectly honest with you. I know it changes the visual recoil, so it doesn't look like it's bouncing as much, but it sometimes can just make the target feel a little bit far away, which makes it actually quite difficult to make those micro adjustments, in my personal opinion, but that's all personal preference. But honestly, if you want an all-round assault rifle and a good place to start, the TAC 56 is probably where you want to go. And with those, as I said, I'm going to give you the full loadout for the assault rifle and LMGs, but most of the time I will always run a standard secondary. In this case, it's a jack of all trades, or the P890, which are akimbo pistols, and that's the FT Steel Fire muzzle, which is then tuned for recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. You've then got the Bruin Express trigger, which is then just kind of left to kind of, should be recoil smoothness because ADS speed doesn't matter, because we're using akimbos, and then sprint to fire speed just so you can get those shots off that a little bit faster. You've then got the 1MW pistol laser, the 12-round mag, so you can take out multiple targets, and then of course the akimbo rear grip, which is very, very important. These are great, like, unbelievable pistols to have as a secondary, and honestly, if you're not using the Vector, like, it's probably what I'd use anyway. You're not going to lose a fight inside of a building, and you got the TAC 56 for long range. I then run flash grenades and drill charges and the Vanguard set, and I know it's telling you that you get high alert. You don't. You actually get a quick fix with this build, so it's double time bomb squad, resupply, and quick fix. I don't know why it's like that. The perks in this game are so bugged, but that's what I run. Resupply is so good, just to kind of have unlimited drill charge and flash grenades, which are like just a free win in a fight, and you of course could like switch those for claymores if you're like playing a little bit of a slower play style. But that's kind of like the overall loadout. I want to then move on to my second loadout, best assault rifle loadout, which is the Kastov 762. People are not using this as much, but statistically, this is probably the best assault rifle in the game right now, with incredibly fast time to kills if you're hitting those upper chest and headshots. Think the AMAX from Warzone 1 that is what the Kastov 762 is. Now, once again, I will go into this a little bit in just a second, but there are some different optic builds that you can use to kind of get a different kind of feel for the gun. But you want the Polar Fire S muzzle, which is tuned for recoil smoothness, and then a little bit of aiming idle stability. You may have been seeing a big talk about how recoil in Warzone 2 actually has a level of randomness to it. So sometimes it doesn't perform the exact same every single fight, which I don't really like that much, but I think they're doing it to counter people that are using Cronus devices to improve their accuracy. We've then got the CAS 10mm, CAS 10 584mm barrel, which is then tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. You've then got the Commando foregrip. It is back. Recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. The 40-round mag, as I said, once again, that's so you can take out multiple opponents at a time. And then I use the Schlager 3.4X, which is a really nice scope, in my opinion, ADS speed, and then that is far. What I would also suggest is if you want it to be a bit more of like a close-range assault rifle, just don't use the Schlager and go for the Chrono Mini Red Dot or the Chrono Mini Pro, depending on what you prefer. And like you'll notice a lot of top pro players are doing that. They're just using like a mini optic because they're kind of making those assault rifle fights being like medium range and not really like at a distance. So much harder to take people down at a distance in Warzone 2, especially with the sniper nerf. We've got the pistol once again, and then I've got a snapshot and drill charge, and then that Vanguard weapon perk package once again. Now, we're getting onto the LMG, the first LMG of this video, which is the RPK. Alongside the Kastov 742, I think the RPK is a fantastic gun to be using in Warzone 2. It's got the Polar Fire S muzzle, once again, recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. We're then using the VX Pineapple underbarrel, which is one of the best underbarrels for recoil control in the game. And then that's tuned for ADS speed, otherwise don't touch anything. You've then got the Demo X2 rear grip for more recoil control, and then that's tuned for recoil steadiness and aiming idle stability. You've then got the heavy support stock, which is ADS speed and then aiming idle stability. For some reason, I've got so much stick drift at the moment. And then the Schlager 3.4 times optic again, ADS and then far. Honestly, great gun. Like, if I actually, you know what? I'm just going to quickly show you this in the firing range because like this is just one of those guns that, and that's what I'm on about by random recoil deviation, by the way. You'll notice sometimes when you start firing, like you'll just get this huge kick to the left. It's not always there. It's just a random recoil pattern, and you can't really take it into account, which is why you've got to be a bit more selective of the fights that you get into in Warzone 2. Because if someone's across the map, it's not like Warzone 1 where you have a no recoil gun, you can just beam them and laser them. You will get those random deviation bullets, which kind of like kick off to the left and then start your recoil a little bit differently. If that happens to you, one big suggestion, just kind of stop firing, reset, go again. But honestly, incredible LMG to be using. Flash grenades, Semtex's Vanguard weapon package once again. Then I had to put one in. I had to put an M4 loadout. I think everyone's favorite gun in Modern Warfare is the M4. And I don't really feel it's any different in Warzone 2. And this is the build that you probably want to be running. Harbinger D20 muzzle, which is tuned for recoil smoothness. And then I don't go the whole way. I go for a little bit of a bullet velocity. I just don't think the M4 needs it as much just because of the higher fire rate. But that aiming idle stability, just don't want to damage it too much. You've then got the high tower 20-inch barrel, best barrel for the M4, recoil steadiness and damage range. You've then got the Commando foregrip, which is recoil stabilization and aiming idle stability. The 60-round mag, because the M4 does have a high fire rate, so you will go through that like the ammo clip pretty quickly. It doesn't have the best ADS speed build, but it does kind of just make it a bit of a laser, so you'll dominate those like kind of close to medium range fights with the assault rifle. And that's why I run the Chrono Mini Pro with this, which is then far and ADS speed. And I'll show you guys once again. But like honestly, like ADS speed's not great, but this thing is a laser. Like this is me just standing up. And you can just take people out very, very easily. And that's one of the big areas that I've noticed with a lot of builds. Like we're not getting like fast ADS builds like we had, but we kind of like want to prioritize that recoil stabilization and recoil control, just because it's so important with the time to kill in this game that you're landing those shots and like taking down people as fast as you can. Once again, that's got the akimbo pistols, flash grenades, and claymores, just if you want to set up, because remember, resupply, it means that you can just move around in final circles, cut off those angles that are behind you, dominate an area of the map. Claymores are so powerful in this game, and you can stack them as well for an instant down, so you always have two to maybe block off like a stairway or something like that. If you're like going for wins, claymores are probably the strongest like lethal that you can go for, playing a bit more aggressive, drill charges, very, very nice, just because you can take people out of like camping positions. And then our final best assault rifle and LMG loadout for Warzone 2 right now is the RAAL LMG, or the RAAL MG, sorry. But that's got the Talon 16 muzzle, which is bullet velocity and recoil smoothness. You've then got the EXF Rhino barrel, which is then recoil steadiness and damage range. The SA side grip underbarrel, which is aiming idle stability and recoil stabilization. Stip 40 grip, which is then recoil steadiness and sprint fire speed. And then the Schlagger 3.4 times optic, which is far, and then ADS speed. And then this thing, right, yes, you move like a snail, but it doesn't really move. And you've got like, honestly, this thing is just ridiculous. I can see it starting to get used a bit more once people start getting used to those long ranges. But like, if I just hold my trigger down, right, you'll see a bit of like wobble. The reload is horrific. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's quite horrific. But once you get over that, and then you just like, you know, I'm not touching my trigger right now. This is just a natural like movement. It just doesn't really move. You get that random kind of like deviation, but that's it. Those are the top 5 loadouts that you should be using in Warzone 2 right now. Let me know your favorites down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.